Rebuilding yourself means breaking free from your comfort zone and embracing the challenges that will lead you to a better version of yourself. Your journey of rebuilding yourself may be slow, but remember, growth takes time. Keep moving forward, and the change will come. Don't be afraid to start over. This time, you're not just rebuilding yourself, you're growing into the person you were meant to become. If you're watching this, chances are you feel like it's time for a change, a fresh start, or a new direction in your life. You're probably looking for a way to rebuild yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Maybe you face setbacks, challenges, or moments that made you question where you're headed. But here's the truth: you can rebuild yourself, and it starts right now. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can transform your life by making some powerful, actionable decisions that will help you grow and evolve. We'll talk about the key steps to take control, move forward, and make the changes that will bring you closer to the person you know you can be. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start creating the life you deserve, stay with me. This is your moment. Let's dive into how you can rebuild yourself one step at a time. Number 1, the wake-up call. Let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly in your heart. How do you feel about where you are in life right now? Not the answer you might give to others, but the truth you tell yourself when it's just you and your thoughts. Because today I want to talk about something that every single one of us experiences at some point: a wake-up call. Now, a wake-up call isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with flashing lights or big signs pointing the way. Sometimes it's quiet. It's that feeling in the middle of the night when you're staring at the ceiling, wondering if this is all there is. Sometimes it's the frustration that bubbles up after another day of feeling stuck. And yes, sometimes it's something bigger: losing a job, a relationship ending, or a moment when life hits you harder than you thought possible. But let me tell you something important. That wake-up call, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, is a gift. It's life's way of tapping you on the shoulder and saying, it's time to change. It's time to rebuild. And here's the good news: you don't have to wait for life to shake you up. You can decide right here and now that it's time to start fresh. The first step to rebuilding yourself is recognizing that you're ready for change. And I know that's not always easy. Facing the truth about where you are can be one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It means looking at your life without excuses, without blaming others, and without turning a blind eye to what's holding you back. Ask yourself this: what choices have I made to get here? What habits have I allowed to take over? What opportunities did I let slip through my fingers? And let me be clear, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's not about shame or regret. It's about understanding where you are so you can take control of where you're going. You see, taking responsibility for your life isn't about guilt. It's about power. When you own your choices, you gain the ability to make new ones. And that's when real change begins. That's when the rebuilding process takes shape. Now, let's talk about that moment when you feel stuck, when the weight of everything seems too much. That's not a sign to give up. That's your body and your mind telling you, let's do something about this. Discomfort is a signal that you're alive. It's proof that you care, that you want more, and that you're capable of achieving it. So what do you do with that feeling? You act on it, you turn it into fuel. You don't sit back and wait for someone to fix things for you, because no one's coming to do it. You don't hope for life to magically change. You decide that you're going to rebuild, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Let me give you some simple steps to start. First, write it down. Take out a piece of paper and be honest with yourself about where you are right now. Write down what's working in your life and what's not. Write down what you're proud of and what you're not. Seeing it in front of you makes it real. Next, ask yourself what you really want. Not what someone else wants for you. Not what society says you should do. What do you want? It doesn't have to be a big, grand vision. Start small if you need to. Do you want better health? A new career? More meaningful relationships? Pick one thing that matters to you and focus on it. Finally, take one step, just one. Maybe it's reading a book that inspires you. Maybe it's calling someone who can help. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to work on your goals. Whatever it is, start small but start now. Action creates momentum, and momentum is what drives transformation. I want you to understand something very important. Your wake-up call is not a punishment. It's not a sign that you failed. It's an opportunity, a chance to rebuild yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. Every mistake you've made, every setback you faced, every moment you felt lost, they're not the end of your story. They're the beginning of something new. And let me tell you, the decision to rebuild yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make. When you take that first step, when you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, you'll feel something incredible. You'll feel alive again. You'll feel hope. You'll feel a sense of purpose that drives you forward. So let me leave you with this. Don't wait for life to push you into action. Don't wait for someday to come around, because someday never does. You have everything you need to start rebuilding yourself right now. You have the strength, the courage, and the ability to create a life you're proud of. Take a deep breath, stand tall, and make the decision today that you will not settle for less than you deserve. You're worth it. And I promise you, when you look back a year from now, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. The best version of you is waiting. Go out there and take that first step. The time to act is now. Number 2, taking full responsibility. Let me start with a simple truth: nothing changes until you take responsibility. Nothing. If you want to rebuild yourself, if you want to create a life you're proud of, you have to look in the mirror and say, "It's on me." That's not always easy to hear, but it's one of the most liberating things you can do. Here's the thing about responsibility: it doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It doesn't mean carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. What it means is taking ownership of your choices, your actions, and your results. Because the moment you do that, you take back your power, you stop being a passenger in your own life, and you become the driver. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you're not where you thought you'd be. Maybe life has thrown you some curveballs, or maybe you've made some choices you're not proud of. That's okay. What's not okay is staying stuck. What's not okay is pointing fingers or waiting for someone else to fix things for you. I want to challenge you to ask yourself some tough questions. Where are you playing the victim? Where are you making excuses? Where are you blaming your circumstances instead of taking control? Be honest with yourself, because honesty is the first step to growth. Now, let me be clear, taking responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. Sometimes life does throw things at you that are completely out of your control. But here's the key: while you can't control what happens to you, you can control how you respond to it. And that response is what shapes your life. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I met a man who had lost everything: his job, his home, even some of his closest relationships. He was angry at the world, and I don't blame him. Life had been tough on him. But then he made a choice. He decided to stop focusing on what he couldn't change and start focusing on what he could. I realized that nobody was coming to save me. If I wanted a better life, I had to create it myself, and that's exactly what he did. He started small, finding odd jobs, reconnecting with people who could support him, and building himself back up one step at a time. Today, he's successful, fulfilled, and most importantly, in control of his life. That's the power of responsibility. It puts the pen back in your hand so you can write your own story. But let's get practical. How do you take responsibility in your own life? It starts with awareness. Take a good hard look at your current situation and ask yourself, what choices did I make to get here? Maybe it's the habits you've allowed to continue. Maybe it's the opportunities you didn't take. Maybe it's the relationships you stayed in too long, or the risks you were too afraid to take. This isn't about judging yourself, it's about understanding. Because once you understand, you can start making different choices. The next step is accountability. And let me tell you, accountability is a game changer. Find someone who will hold you to your commitments. It could be a friend, a mentor, or even just writing things down and checking in with yourself. When you know someone's watching, you're more likely to follow through. But here's the part that matters most: action. Responsibility isn't just a mindset, it's something you do. It's saying, I might not have all the answers, but I'm going to start where I am with what I have. Start small if you need to. Maybe it's setting a goal to wake up earlier, eat healthier, or spend more time learning something new. Whatever it is, take that first step. Action builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. And let me remind you of something important. Rebuilding yourself is not about perfection. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have days when you fall short. That's okay. Responsibility isn't about never failing, it's about getting back up every time you do. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, or the right circumstances? Let me save you some time. There's no such thing as the perfect moment. The only time you have is right now. Today you have a choice. You can keep living the way you've been living, or you can decide to take responsibility for your life and start rebuilding. And let me tell you, when you make that decision, something amazing happens. You start to feel a sense of control, of possibility, of freedom. Because when you take responsibility, you're not just rebuilding your life, you're reclaiming it. You're saying, this is my life, and I'm going to make it something extraordinary. Deep breath, and make the commitment to yourself right here, right now, that you will own your choices, your actions, and your future, because you are capable of more than you know. The power is in your hands. Use it. Number 3, clarify your vision. I want to talk about something that's absolutely critical to rebuilding yourself, clarifying your vision. If you want to build the life you dream about, you need to have a clear picture of where you're headed. Without a vision, you're like a ship without a rudder going in circles, drifting with the wind, unsure of where you're going. But when you have a clear vision, when you know exactly where you're headed, that's when you start making progress. That's when you start rebuilding yourself in a way that truly matters. So let's start with the basics. What is your vision? What is the life you want to create? I want you to think about it for a moment. Imagine the person you want to become, the goals you want to achieve, and the impact you want to have. What does that look like for you? Now, here's the thing about vision. It's not just about having a goal. It's not just about writing down a list of things you want to achieve. A vision is about understanding the bigger picture, the reason behind why you want those things in the first place. It's about asking yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of impact do I want to leave on the world? It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind of life. We all have responsibilities, things we need to take care of, and tasks that demand our attention. But if you don't have a vision, you'll end up spending all your time reacting to life instead of creating the life you want. You'll spend your time putting out fires instead of building something meaningful. One of the most powerful things you can do is take some time to step back and think about your vision, to really think about what you want deep down inside. Because your vision is the compass that will guide you. It will help you make decisions, stay focused, and keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough. I want to challenge you to get specific about your vision. Don't just say, I want to be successful. What does success look like for you? Is it financial freedom? A career you're passionate about? More time with your family? Better health? Or something else entirely? When you get clear on what success means to you, you can start working towards it with intention. Here's another thing to consider. Your vision should excite you. If your vision doesn't light a fire inside of you, if it doesn't make you feel energized and motivated, then it's not big enough. Your vision should be something that makes you wake up in the morning excited to get to work. It should be something that drives you forward when you face obstacles or challenges. Think about the most successful people you know, whether they're entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, or anyone else who has achieved greatness. They all have one thing in common. They have a clear, compelling vision. They know exactly what they want, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Now, I understand that not everyone has a crystal clear vision from the get-go. It's normal to feel uncertain, especially if you've been stuck in a rut or if life hasn't gone the way you planned. But here's the good news: you don't have to have everything figured out today. You don't need to have the entire path laid out in front of you. What's important is that you start somewhere. If you're not sure what your vision is yet, start by asking yourself some questions. What are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What makes you feel fulfilled? What do you want your legacy to be? These are the questions that will help you uncover your true vision for your life. Another important part of clarifying your vision is to understand your why. Why do you want the things you're aiming for? The reason behind your goals will give you the energy and motivation to keep going, even when things get difficult. When you know your why, it becomes easier to make sacrifices, put in the hard work, and push through the challenges that will inevitably come your way. Let me tell you something, when you have a clear vision, you can achieve things that others might think are impossible. Your vision will fuel your determination. It will keep you moving forward when you feel like giving up. It will help you stay focused on what truly matters instead of getting distracted by everything else going on in your life. Once you have a vision, you need to write it down. Putting your vision on paper is one of the most powerful steps you can take to bring it to life. When you write something down, you're not just thinking about it, you're making a commitment. You're telling yourself and the world, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to become. Take the time to write down your vision in as much detail as possible. Don't just write about the end result, write about the journey too. What does it feel like to work towards your vision? What steps will you need to take to get there? What challenges will you face, and how will you overcome them? And don't just stop at writing it down. Make your vision visible. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. Maybe it's on your bathroom mirror, your desk, or in your wallet. Seeing it every day will keep it fresh in your mind and help you stay focused on what you're working towards. But here's the catch: clarifying your vision is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process. As you grow and evolve, your vision may change or expand, and that's perfectly fine. What's important is that you continue to check in with yourself and adjust your vision as needed. Keep asking yourself, is this still what I want? Is this still the life I'm working towards? If the answer is yes, then keep moving forward with confidence. But if your vision changes, don't be afraid to pivot. Life is about growth, and your vision should grow with you. As you move forward, remember that your vision is your greatest asset. It's the thing that will guide you when you're lost, motivate you when you're tired, and inspire you when you need it most. It's what will keep you going when the road gets tough. So take a moment today and ask yourself, what is my vision for my life? What do I want to achieve? Who do I want to become? When you get clear on your vision, everything else will fall into place. You'll have a sense of purpose, direction, and focus that will drive you to take action and rebuild yourself in a way that truly matters. Remember, it's not about having a perfect vision, it's about having a vision that excites you, challenges you, and pushes you to be the best version of yourself. So start today. Clarify your vision, write it down, and take the first step toward creating the life you've always wanted. You have the power to make it happen. The best version of you is waiting. Go out there and build it. Number 4, build a strong foundation. I want to talk about something essential to rebuilding your life: building a strong foundation. Think about anything that stands the test of time. It could be a house, a business, a career, or even a relationship. What do all these things have in common? They all need a solid foundation to stand firm and endure through challenges. So here's the truth: if you want to rebuild yourself and create lasting change in your life, you need to build a strong foundation. Without it, nothing you do will last. You'll find yourself starting over time and time again. But when you take the time to establish a strong base, everything you build on top of it will be solid, stable, and long-lasting. Let me ask you this: when you think about the life you want to create, what kind of foundation do you have in place? Think about it. If your life were a house, what kind of foundation are you working with? Is it solid or is it shaky? The truth is, many people spend a lot of time on the surface things, the things that are visible to others. They focus on the shiny parts, the goals, the accomplishments, the results. But when it comes to building a life that's truly sustainable, that's not where the real work is done. The real work is in building a strong foundation. Now, you might be asking, Jim, what do you mean by foundation? Great question. A strong foundation is built on a few key principles that you can rely on no matter what happens. These principles serve as the backbone of your life. They support everything you do and give you the strength to weather any storm. So let's break it down. First, you need to build a foundation of self-discipline. Without discipline, you won't be able to achieve anything meaningful. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's getting up early even when you'd rather sleep in. It's putting in the work even when no one is watching. It's sticking to your commitments even when life gets tough. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must make discipline your friend. Start by committing to small daily habits that reinforce your self-discipline. Maybe it's getting up at the same time every day. Maybe it's reading or learning something new each day. Whatever it is, stick to it. Over time, these small acts of discipline will compound and create a foundation of strength in your life. Next, your foundation must include personal responsibility. You have to own your choices, your actions, and your results. This means no more blaming others, no more making excuses, and no more waiting for someone else to fix things for you. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must take full responsibility for where you are in life. That means owning up to your mistakes, learning from them, and making better decisions moving forward. When you take responsibility, you empower yourself, you take control of your life. And that's the first step in rebuilding yourself. You might not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Personal responsibility is about owning your power and using it to make positive changes. Now, let's talk about values. A strong foundation is rooted in your values, the things that matter most to you. What do you stand for? What are your core beliefs? When you have a clear understanding of your values, you can make decisions that align with your true self. This makes it easier to stay grounded, even when life gets chaotic. You see, values act as your internal compass. They help you navigate through tough times. They keep you on track when others may be pulling you in different directions. If you're building a strong foundation, it's crucial that you identify your core values and let them guide your actions. Another critical part of your foundation is health, both physical and mental. If you're not taking care of your body, everything else you build will be fragile. Your health is your most valuable asset, and you can't afford to neglect it. Make it a priority to eat healthy, exercise regularly, and get enough rest. But health isn't just about the physical, it's also about your mental well-being. Mental health is the foundation for resilience. If you don't take care of your mind, it's easy to get overwhelmed, stressed, or burned out. Build your mental strength by practicing mindfulness, managing stress, and developing a positive mindset. Meditation, journaling, or even taking time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for can help you build that mental toughness you need to succeed. Let's also talk about the importance of relationships. A strong foundation includes surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people. The people you spend your time with can either lift you up or drag you down. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who encourage you, challenge you, and inspire you to be better. These are the people who will help you stay on course when things get tough. Now, let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually start building this strong foundation? How do you put these principles into action? Start by focusing on the basics. It's easy to get caught up in big, overwhelming goals, but when you're rebuilding yourself, it's important to start small. Focus on one area of your life that you want to improve and take consistent daily action toward that improvement. For example, if you want to improve your health, start by making healthier food choices or exercising for just 15 minutes a day. If you want to improve your mental well-being, begin by taking 10 minutes each morning to meditate or reflect on your goals. The key is consistency. Small, consistent actions over time will lead to big results. And as you build that foundation, you'll begin to see progress. You'll start to feel more grounded, more capable, and more confident in your ability to rebuild yourself. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And consistency is what makes the difference between temporary success and lasting success. When you build a strong foundation, you're setting yourself up for a future that is not only successful but sustainable. You're creating something that can endure through the challenges of life. And when you face tough times, and you will face tough times, you'll have the strength to keep going because your foundation will be solid. So I challenge you today to take a good, hard look at your foundation. What needs strengthening? What areas of your life are shaky? And what actions can you take right now to start building a more solid foundation? Start with the basics: discipline, responsibility, values, health, and relationships. Put in the work every day, and over time, you'll be amazed at how much stronger you become. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And as you build your foundation, you'll find that you're not just rebuilding yourself, you're creating the life you've always wanted. Number 5, learn and unlearn. I'm glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that is so important when it comes to rebuilding your life, learning and unlearning. It's not just about picking up new information, skills, or habits. It's also about letting go of old ways of thinking, beliefs, and behaviors that no longer serve you. If you truly want to rebuild yourself, you need to master the art of both learning and unlearning. Let me start by saying this: there's always something new to learn. The world is changing every single day, and the person you were yesterday is not the same person you need to be today. Rebuilding yourself requires growth, and growth is about learning. It's about constantly evolving and adapting to new ideas, new methods, and new ways of thinking. But here's where it gets interesting: learning is only half of the equation. The other half is unlearning. In fact, unlearning can often be just as important, if not more so, than learning. Why? Because sometimes the beliefs, habits, and mindsets that you've built up over the years are actually holding you back. You may have learned things in the past that no longer serve you, things that limit your potential. To rebuild yourself, you need to unlearn those old ways and make room for something better. So let's start with learning. When I talk about learning, I'm not just talking about the kind of learning you get from reading books or attending seminars, although those are great things. What I'm really talking about is the commitment to learning something new every day. It's about expanding your knowledge, improving your skills, and developing your ability to think in new ways. This kind of learning doesn't just happen automatically. You have to be intentional about it. You have to make learning a priority in your life. And that starts with the mindset that says, I don't know everything, and that's okay, I'm open to learning. The minute you close yourself off from new ideas, new experiences, or new ways of doing things, you stop growing, you stop improving. And when you stop improving, you stop rebuilding yourself. Start small. Find one area of your life where you want to improve and commit to learning more about it. It could be related to your career, your health, your relationships, or even your mindset. There's always something new to learn. For example, if you want to improve your career, learn more about your industry, develop new skills, or find mentors who can help you grow. If you want to improve your health, learn more about nutrition, exercise, or mindfulness. Whatever it is, commit to constant learning. But here's the thing: learning is not enough. Just learning more information isn't going to rebuild your life. You need to take action on that information. Knowledge is only powerful when it's applied. So learn something new today and then apply it. Use it to make your life better, to make your decisions smarter, and to take more effective action. Now let's talk about unlearning. This part is just as critical. You've probably picked up a lot of things over the years, things that seemed right at the time, but now you realize they're not helping you move forward. Maybe you were taught certain beliefs or habits that are limiting your growth. Maybe you've held on to ideas that no longer serve you. If you want to rebuild yourself, you need to let go of those old ways of thinking. I'm sure you've heard people say things like, "That's just the way I've always done it," or "I've always believed that." But here's the truth: just because something worked for you in the past doesn't mean it's the right way to do things today. Your past experiences, old beliefs, and outdated habits might be keeping you stuck. To move forward, you have to be willing to unlearn the things that are holding you back. Unlearning means letting go of limiting beliefs. It means breaking free from the old patterns that no longer serve you. Think about the things you've been taught that you've just accepted as truth. Maybe you've been told that success is only for certain people, or that you can't change your circumstances. These are the things that you need to unlearn. You need to let go of the belief that you're limited in any way. Unlearning also means breaking free from old habits that are holding you back. Maybe you've developed habits over the years that are sabotaging your success. Maybe you've gotten used to procrastination, poor time management, or self-doubt. To rebuild yourself, you have to unlearn these behaviors and replace them with habits that move you forward. But unlearning isn't always easy. It can feel uncomfortable at first because you're challenging beliefs and behaviors that have been ingrained in you for a long time. It takes courage to look at your life and say, I need to let go of these old ways of thinking and doing. But I'm here to tell you it's worth it. Here's how you can start the process of unlearning. Question everything. Ask yourself, is this belief or behavior really serving me? Is this helping me rebuild myself? Or is it holding me back? Challenge everything you've been taught. Just because you've always believed something doesn't mean it's true. And just because you've always done something doesn't mean it's the best way. The next step is to replace old habits with new, empowering ones. If you've been procrastinating, replace that habit with action. If you've been stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, replace that with positive affirmations or mindfulness. If you've been living in fear or doubt, replace that with courage and confidence. Learning and unlearning go hand in hand. When you learn something new, you need to unlearn the old beliefs or habits that no longer serve you. When you unlearn something, you make space for something better, something more aligned with the person you're becoming. Here's a great example. Let's say you've been struggling with self-doubt. You've been telling yourself that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed. That's a belief you've learned over time, probably from past experiences, from the people around you, or from your own fears. To rebuild yourself, you need to unlearn that belief. You need to let go of the idea that you're not capable of achieving great things. Replace that with a new belief that says, I am capable, I am worthy of success, and I can make my dreams come true. But you can't just unlearn those negative beliefs. You need to replace them with something positive, something empowering. Start learning new ways of thinking. Start reading books that inspire you, surrounding yourself with positive influences, and taking actions that build your confidence. Now, I want you to understand this rebuilding yourself is a continuous process. It's not something you do once and then forget about. You're going to constantly be learning new things and unlearning old ways of thinking and doing. The key is to be open to change, to challenge your beliefs, and to be willing to grow. When you learn and unlearn, you create space for new possibilities. You become someone who is constantly evolving, someone who is always improving, and someone who is building a life that aligns with their deepest desires and goals. So today I challenge you to think about what you need to learn. What new skills, knowledge, or beliefs do you need to adopt to rebuild yourself? And just as importantly, think about what you need to unlearn. What old habits, outdated beliefs, or limiting behaviors do you need to let go of in order to move forward? Rebuilding yourself is about growth, and growth is about learning and unlearning. Embrace both, and you'll find that you're not just building a new life, you're building the life you were always meant to live. Number 6, take small, consistent actions. It's a real honor to be with you today, and I'm excited to dive into a topic that is crucial to rebuilding yourself. And that topic is this: taking small, consistent actions. You see, most people fail to rebuild their lives, not because they lack big ideas or grand ambitions, but because they underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. Let me tell you something right now: small actions matter. They matter more than you might realize. You don't need to make huge, dramatic changes overnight to see transformation. What you need is the ability to take one small, deliberate step forward every single day. When you do that, you'll be amazed at how much progress you can make over time. You've probably heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, neither is your new life. Rebuilding yourself is a process, and it's a process that's built on the foundation of small, consistent actions. But here's the kicker: most people give up too soon because they want results right away. They think they need a huge leap or a quick fix. But real, lasting change happens in small increments. I want you to think about where you want to be 6 months, a year, or even 5 years from now. Now, imagine that you could take just one small action each day to get there. It might not seem like much at first, but over time, those actions will add up. That's how you make progress. That's how you rebuild yourself. Small actions don't require a lot of energy, and they don't demand perfection. What they do require is commitment and consistency. When you commit to taking small actions every single day, you're making a promise to yourself. You're saying, no matter what happens, I'm going to take this step, no matter how small it seems, and over time, those small steps become the building blocks of a transformed life. Let's talk about some examples to make this real. Let's say you want to get in better shape. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea of spending hours in the gym or making drastic changes to your diet. But you don't have to start there. Instead, start by taking small actions. Maybe it's getting up 15 minutes earlier in the morning to go for a walk. Maybe it's replacing one unhealthy snack with something healthier. Maybe it's simply stretching for a few minutes each day. These small actions may not seem like much, but they'll compound over time. In 6 months, you'll look back and see how much progress you've made. Or maybe you're working on improving your finances. You might be feeling like you're far behind or like there's no way out of debt. But if you commit to taking small, consistent actions, you can make a real difference. Maybe it's saving just $5 a day. Maybe it's cutting out one unnecessary expense. Maybe it's taking an hour each week to learn about budgeting or investing. These small actions will begin to add up, and in time, you'll see real results. And the same applies to relationships, your career, or any other area of your life. Whether you're working to improve your communication skills, build your network, or develop a new skill, small actions are key. You don't have to do everything at once. Just take one small action today and then another one tomorrow. Here's the thing about small actions: they create momentum. It's the law of consistency. The more you do something, the easier it gets. And over time, those small actions will lead to bigger actions, bigger results, and bigger success. This is where many people miss the mark. They think that to achieve something great, they need to do something grand. But the truth is that the foundation of success is made up of simple, repeated actions. Let's take a moment to talk about consistency. Consistency is the key to rebuilding yourself. You've heard it before: success doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't, and it's true. But success does happen over time, and that time is filled with small, consistent actions. It's the repeated effort day after day that eventually leads to the results you want. When you're consistent, you build trust in yourself. You show yourself that you can rely on you to keep your word, to follow through, and to take action. And trust me, that kind of confidence is invaluable. When you start to see the power of small, consistent actions, it's like a snowball effect. The more you do, the more momentum you gain. And as that momentum builds, you'll start to see the kind of changes you've been hoping for. But I also want to emphasize something important. Don't wait for motivation. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking they need to feel motivated before they can take action. They wait for the right moment, the right mood, or the right inspiration to strike. But here's the truth: motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. If you wait around for motivation, you'll be waiting forever. Instead, rely on discipline and habit. Motivation will come and go, but when you commit to small actions and make them part of your daily routine, you don't need to rely on motivation. You just need to show up. You need to follow through. You need to make those small, consistent actions part of who you are. That's how you build the life you want. I know some of you might be thinking, Jim, this all sounds good, but what if I don't see results right away? And I hear you. The thing about small actions is that they take time to show results. But here's the key: just because you can't see immediate results doesn't mean you're not making progress. Every small action you take is like planting a seed. You may not see the results right away, but you're laying the groundwork for future success. So keep planting those seeds and trust that with time, they'll grow into something amazing. I want you to think about this. Imagine that 6 months from now, you look back at where you are today. If you've taken small, consistent actions every day, where do you think you'll be? What kind of progress will you have made? It's exciting, isn't it? And it's all possible if you commit to those small actions, day in and day out. I also want to say this: don't be discouraged by setbacks. Sometimes life throws us curveballs. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but that doesn't mean you should quit. It means you need to get back up and keep going. Even when you face challenges, stay consistent. The journey isn't always smooth, but the more consistent you are, the more resilient you'll become. So what's the next step? It's simple. Start today. Choose one small action to take right now. It doesn't matter how small it is. Maybe it's sending that email, making that phone call, or reading just one page of a book. The key is to start. And then tomorrow, do the same thing. Keep going and keep building. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires consistent effort. Small, consistent actions will add up. They'll lead to the transformation you're seeking. And in the end, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Keep moving forward and rebuild yourself one small action at a time. Number 7, surround yourself with growth-minded people. I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that will have a huge impact on your ability to rebuild yourself, the people you surround yourself with. If you're serious about making lasting change, about transforming your life, about becoming the best version of yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who are growth-minded. This is one of the most important decisions you will make in your life. You see, the people you choose to spend your time with, the people you let influence you, will either help you grow or hold you back. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must choose to be around people who will challenge you, inspire you, and push you to become the best version of yourself. But here's the truth, not everyone will be on that journey with you. Some people might not understand the changes you want to make. They might even try to discourage you or tell you that you're aiming too high. Others may not have any interest in growing themselves, and that's fine. It's just not the right environment for you if you're serious about rebuilding your life. So let's get real. Growth-minded people are the ones who will help you get to the next level. They are the ones who encourage you to think bigger, take action, and constantly improve. And I want to tell you why this is so important. Growth-minded people are visionaries. First of all, growth-minded people are visionaries. They have a clear picture of where they want to go in life, and they are constantly working towards that vision. These people are driven, motivated, and focused on their personal growth. They're not satisfied with where they are always striving to be better. And that attitude is contagious. When you surround yourself with people like this, it challenges you to think bigger, to raise your standards, and to push yourself harder. When you're with growth-minded people, you'll notice something: they don't settle. They don't accept mediocrity. They're constantly looking for ways to improve themselves in their lives. And when you're around that kind of energy, it will inspire you to do the same. You won't settle for less. You won't settle for average. You'll start aiming higher, reaching further, and working harder. They lift you up, not bring you down. Now, I know this is a big one. You've probably experienced times when you were around people who seemed to drain your energy. Maybe they were negative, always complaining, always focused on what was wrong. They didn't have any ambition or drive, and being around them made you feel stuck. That's the opposite of what you need. If you want to rebuild yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who lift you up, not bring you down. Growth-minded people are the ones who encourage you when you feel discouraged. They are the ones who offer support when you're facing challenges. They don't tear you down with negativity, they build you up with positivity and constructive feedback. Let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with being kind or compassionate toward people who are struggling. But if you want to grow, you need to spend the majority of your time with people who have the mindset you want to adopt. People who are not afraid to push themselves, to take risks, to embrace challenges. Because when you're around those kinds of people, you can't help but rise to the occasion. Their energy becomes your energy. Their passion becomes your passion. They hold you accountable. Growth-minded people don't just encourage you, they hold you accountable. They challenge you to follow through on your commitments. They don't let you make excuses. They won't let you off the hook when you say you're going to do something but don't follow through. They push you to stay on track, to do the work, and to keep moving forward, even when it's difficult. This is crucial when you're rebuilding yourself. One of the toughest parts of change is staying consistent and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. But growth-minded people will hold you to your word. They will remind you of your goals and help you stay focused on your bigger vision. And let me tell you, this is powerful. Having people around you who hold you accountable is one of the fastest ways to move toward your goals. So ask yourself, who in your life is holding you accountable? Who is challenging you to do better, to be better, to reach further? If you can't think of anyone, it might be time to start finding those people. Look for individuals who are already where you want to be. Find those who are achieving the things you want to achieve and learn from them. Align yourself with people who will push you to grow. They celebrate your wins. It's so important to have people around you who genuinely celebrate your successes. Too often, we're surrounded by people who are indifferent to our progress, or worse, who downplay our achievements. But growth-minded people celebrate wins no matter how big or small. When you make progress, they're right there with you, cheering you on. They want to see you succeed, and they genuinely enjoy seeing you move closer to your goals. When you're rebuilding yourself, it's important to have a support system that encourages you, that celebrates you. This kind of positive reinforcement will keep you motivated and remind you that the work you're putting in is paying off. So be mindful of the people you share your victories with. Do they support you? Do they cheer you on? If not, maybe it's time to find people who will. They encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. Growth-minded people are the ones who will encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. They're not content with staying in the same place. They are always looking for new challenges, new experiences, and new ways to grow. And they encourage you to do the same. The truth is, if you want to rebuild yourself, you can't stay in your comfort zone. You have to be willing to take risks, to face fears, to try new things. And it's a lot easier to do that when you have people around you who are already stepping out of their own comfort zones. They help normalize it. They make it feel like it's just part of the process. When you're with growth-minded people, they help you realize that growth happens outside your comfort zone. They inspire you to take that leap, to take that next step, even when it feels scary. And I promise you, the more you push yourself, the more you grow, and the closer you get to the person you want to be. They are constant learners. Another important trait of growth-minded people is that they are lifelong learners. They believe that there is always something new to learn, always room for improvement. And they don't just talk about learning, they actually do it. They read books, attend seminars, listen to podcasts, and always look for ways to expand their knowledge and skills. When you surround yourself with people like this, you'll find that your own learning habits improve. You'll be inspired to read more, to seek out new information, and to keep improving your skills. You'll start to see that learning is a key part of personal development, and it's something that never stops. They inspire you to live with purpose. Lastly, growth-minded people inspire you to live with purpose. They remind you that you have a unique set of gifts and talents that the world needs. They encourage you to discover what you're truly passionate about and to pursue that with everything you've got. When you're around people who live with purpose, it's contagious. You start to believe that you, too, have something important to contribute. You begin to see that your life has meaning, and you'll be inspired to live with intention and drive. You'll want to take the actions necessary to rebuild yourself and live a life that aligns with your deepest values and desires. In conclusion, if you want to rebuild yourself, you must surround yourself with growth-minded people. Choose to be around those who will challenge you, support you, and push you to become better. The people you spend time with will have a huge influence on the person you become. So choose wisely. Make sure you are building a network of people who will help you grow, who will lift you up, who will hold you accountable, and who will inspire you to live your best life. Remember, your journey of rebuilding yourself doesn't have to be a lonely one. You don't have to do it alone. Find the right people, and together you can achieve more than you ever thought possible. You're not just rebuilding yourself, you're building a community of growth, positivity, and success. Let's do this together. Number 8, embrace setbacks as learning opportunities. I'm glad you're here because today I want to talk about something that is essential for rebuilding yourself, embracing setbacks as learning opportunities. Life is going to throw challenges at you. You're going to face setbacks, obstacles, and moments when it feels like everything is falling apart. But here's the truth: setbacks are not failures, they are learning opportunities. And how you handle them will determine how fast you rebuild and how strong you become. I know setbacks can feel tough. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go the way you expect, when your plans don't work out, or when you encounter roadblocks. But I want to challenge you today to look at setbacks in a new way. Instead of seeing them as signs of failure or reasons to quit, see them as chances to learn, grow, and improve. Every setback carries with it valuable lessons that can help you move forward. Setbacks are part of the process. First, let's understand something important: setbacks are a normal part of the process. If you're rebuilding yourself, you need to expect them. You will face obstacles. You will encounter challenges that make you question if it's worth it. But this is just part of the process of growth. Here's the thing: when you're on a path of personal development, you will face difficulties. That's how life works. But the key is not to avoid them or hope they don't happen. The key is to recognize that setbacks are necessary. They are part of what helps you grow and become stronger. When you accept that setbacks are a natural part of your journey, it changes your mindset. Instead of feeling defeated when things go wrong, you'll begin to look at them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and get better. It shifts your perspective and helps you stay focused on the bigger picture: rebuilding yourself. Shift your mindset, view setbacks as growth. Let me ask you a question: when something goes wrong, what's your first reaction? Do you get upset? Do you feel discouraged? It's natural to have that initial reaction, but here's the key: don't let that be your final reaction. I want to encourage you to shift your mindset. When a setback happens, don't focus on how hard it is or how unfair it feels. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this situation teaching me? This is a mindset shift that will change your life. Instead of seeing setbacks as roadblocks, see them as stepping stones to greater wisdom, understanding, and growth. The more you embrace this way of thinking, the easier it will be to handle setbacks. And the faster you'll rebuild yourself. Learn from every experience. Every setback you encounter has a lesson to offer. The important part is to be open to learning from it. Think about a time when you faced a setback. Maybe it was a failed project, a missed opportunity, or something that didn't turn out the way you expected. Now, think about the lesson you learned from that experience. Even if the setback felt painful or discouraging, I bet there's something valuable you can take from it. For example, maybe you learned to be more patient with yourself. Or maybe you learned that you need to plan better next time. Maybe you learned that you need to be more persistent, or that you need to ask for help when you need it. Whatever it is, there's always something to learn. When you learn from every experience, including the setbacks, you build wisdom. And that wisdom becomes a powerful tool for rebuilding yourself. The more you embrace setbacks as learning opportunities, the more confident and resilient you'll become. Don't let setbacks define you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they face setbacks is allowing those setbacks to define them. It's easy to think, I messed up, I failed. Maybe I'm just not good enough, but here's the truth: setbacks do not define you. What defines you is how you respond to them. You are not your setbacks. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are what you choose to become after you face them. It's your actions, your mindset, and your determination that define who you are and who you'll become. So if you faced a setback, don't let it be the story of who you are. Instead, let it be the moment when you decided to rise again. Let it be the lesson that propelled you forward, the turning point that helped you become a stronger, wiser, and more determined person. Take responsibility for your growth. When setbacks happen, it's easy to blame other people or circumstances. But if you want to rebuild yourself, you need to take full responsibility for your own growth. Yes, other people or situations might have contributed to the setback, but ultimately, how you respond is up to you. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It means acknowledging that you are the one in charge of your growth. It means accepting that setbacks are part of the journey and committing to learning from them. When you take responsibility for your growth, you stop looking for excuses. You stop waiting for things to be perfect. You stop waiting for the right time, you start taking action no matter what obstacles come your way. And that kind of mindset is what will help you rebuild yourself step by step. Setbacks help you build resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges, and it's one of the most important qualities you can develop. Every setback you face gives you the chance to build resilience. You see, resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop over time by facing challenges, learning from them, and continuing to move forward. The more setbacks you face, the stronger you become. Every time you pick yourself up after a failure, you're building your resilience muscle. And the more resilient you are, the more you'll be able to handle future setbacks with ease. You'll start to see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to avoid. If you want to rebuild yourself, you need to develop resilience. And the best way to do that is to embrace setbacks as part of your journey. Don't shy away from challenges. Don't run from discomfort. Embrace it. Learn from it. And use it to build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The power of persistence. When setbacks happen, persistence is key. It's easy to quit when things aren't going well, but the people who succeed are the ones who keep going, no matter how hard it gets. Persistence is what separates those who rebuild themselves from those who give up. Think about a time when you almost gave up but decided to keep going. Maybe it was a difficult project at work, a tough personal challenge, or something you were working toward for a long time. That moment when you chose persistence over quitting, that's the moment you grew the most. That's the moment that shaped you into a stronger person. The key to rebuilding yourself is persistence. You will face setbacks, and you will have moments when it feels like you can't go on. But if you keep going, if you keep learning, if you keep pushing forward, you will eventually succeed. Reflect and adjust. Finally, it's important to reflect on your setbacks and adjust your approach if needed. Sometimes setbacks happen because we're doing something wrong or we're not taking the right actions. The key is to look at the setback honestly, without blaming anyone or anything, and ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? Reflection and adjustment are vital to growth. It's not enough to just go through the motions. You need to take time to reflect on your actions and make necessary changes. Maybe you need to plan better, work harder, or change your strategy. Whatever it is, be willing to adjust. When you reflect and adjust, you're showing yourself that you're committed to learning, to growing, and to rebuilding yourself. You're not just going through the motions, you're actively working toward becoming the best version of yourself. In conclusion, I want you to remember this: setbacks are not the end of the road. They are an essential part of the journey. Every setback you face is a chance to learn, grow, and rebuild yourself. Embrace them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. The more you do this, the more resilient, strong, and successful you'll become. So the next time you face a setback, don't run from it. Don't let it stop you. Look it in the face and ask, what can I learn from this then? Keep moving forward with confidence and determination. Your growth, your success, and your rebuilding process depend on it. Let's embrace setbacks together as the opportunities they truly are. Keep going, you're building something amazing. Number 9, celebrate progress. I want to talk about something that's often overlooked in the journey of rebuilding yourself: celebrating progress. When we think about personal growth or self-improvement, we often focus on the end goal. We want to reach the finish line, we want to achieve success. But here's the truth: success is built one small step at a time, and those small steps deserve to be celebrated. So often we get caught up in looking at where we still need to go, instead of appreciating how far we've already come. We get focused on what's next, what's missing, what's still left to do. But if you want to truly rebuild yourself, you must learn to celebrate your progress along the way. Recognize every step forward. In the process of rebuilding yourself, every small step forward matters. Every new habit you form, every time you overcome a challenge, every day that you stay disciplined, these are all moments of progress. But too often we brush past these wins as if they don't matter. We think that's not enough, or that's just part of the process, and we keep moving forward, always looking at the next thing. But I want to challenge you today: stop and celebrate your progress. Take time to appreciate the steps you've already taken. Each step is a victory. You might not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be, and that is something worth celebrating. Think about it. How easy is it to focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what's not going well? Our minds have a tendency to do that. We focus on problems, setbacks, and things we haven't achieved yet. But when you stop and reflect on your progress, you start to see just how far you've come. Maybe you've been working on your health and you've lost a few pounds. Maybe you've been working on your mindset and have started to feel more positive each day. Maybe you've been building a business and you've made small but significant strides toward your goals. Celebrate these small wins. They matter. They're the building blocks of the bigger transformation that is to come. Progress is personal. Let me say something important here. Your progress is personal. Don't compare your progress to someone else's. Everyone is on their own unique journey. It's easy to look around and think that everyone else is further along than you. But let me tell you, your journey is your own, and the progress you've made is significant, regardless of where anyone else is. Comparing yourself to others only sets you up for disappointment. You'll always find someone who seems to be doing better, achieving more, or reaching their goals faster. But that doesn't mean you're not making progress. Your progress matters because it's yours. Think about where you were a year ago, 5 years ago, or even just a few months ago. When you take a moment to reflect, you'll realize just how much you've grown. So, don't focus on how far you still have to go. Instead, focus on how far you've already come. Appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Many people get so focused on the destination that they forget to enjoy the journey. The end result is important, but it's the process that shapes who you become. If all you ever do is chase the end goal, you'll miss out on the incredible growth, lessons, and experiences that happen along the way. It's like this: if you're always looking at the top of the mountain, you might miss the beauty of the path that's leading you there. Every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, every lesson you learn, that's where the real growth happens. The journey is where you discover who you truly are and how strong, resilient, and capable you really are. So I encourage you to appreciate the journey. Celebrate the progress you're making, even if it feels small. Remember that every step forward counts. The destination will come, but it's the process that will shape and mold you into the person you're meant to become. Acknowledge your effort. When you rebuild yourself, it's important to recognize the effort you're putting in. The hard work, the commitment, the sacrifice, it all matters. Sometimes it's easy to think that progress should come effortlessly, or that you should be achieving your goals without any struggles. But the truth is, rebuilding yourself takes time and effort. It's about showing up day after day, even when it's hard. And here's the thing: your effort matters. Don't downplay it. Even if the results haven't shown up the way you want yet, the effort you put in is valuable. Every time you make an effort to improve, even when it feels like you're not seeing instant results, you are building the foundation for future success. If you've been putting in the work, whether it's reading, learning new skills, working on your health, or improving your mindset, give yourself credit for the effort you're making. Success is the result of consistent effort over time, and every bit of effort counts. Celebrate the small wins. One of the keys to maintaining momentum and rebuilding yourself is to celebrate the small wins along the way. When you wait until you reach the big goal before celebrating, you'll burn out. But when you celebrate the small victories, you keep yourself motivated and excited to continue. Maybe you've set a goal to read more books, and you've just finished your first one. Celebrate that. Maybe you've committed to getting up earlier, and today you woke up on time. Celebrate that. Maybe you've been working on your fitness and you've increased your stamina or lifted more than you could last week. Celebrate that. Every small win is a step toward the bigger picture. Don't wait for perfection. Celebrate the progress you've made, no matter how small it may seem. Celebrating small victories helps build momentum. It keeps you motivated, focused, and ready to take on the next challenge. Momentum is key. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the world. When you're building something, whether it's a new habit, a business, or a new version of yourself, momentum is your ally, and celebrating your progress builds momentum. Think about it: every time you celebrate, you reinforce the positive actions you've taken. You remind yourself that you're on the right track. You make the next step feel easier because you've already seen success. And that makes it easier to keep going. Without celebration, you risk losing motivation. Without acknowledging your progress, you risk feeling like you're not moving forward. But when you celebrate your wins, no matter how small they add up, and soon enough, you'll see how much you've accomplished. Celebrate your progress with gratitude. I also want to talk about the power of gratitude. Celebrating progress is not just about patting yourself on the back. It's also about being grateful for the progress you've made and for the opportunities you have to improve. Gratitude helps you focus on what you've gained instead of what you still need to achieve. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you're grateful for the small victories, you open the door to even more success. You begin to appreciate the journey and the lessons along the way. Gratitude is an essential part of rebuilding yourself because it helps you stay positive, motivated, and focused on what really matters. Don't wait for perfection. Here's a critical point: don't wait for perfection to celebrate. Perfection doesn't exist. You might feel like you'll celebrate when everything is just right, when all the pieces fall into place. But that day may never come. Instead, celebrate what you have now. Celebrate the progress you've made today. Even if it's not perfect, celebrate the effort, the lessons, and the small victories. Celebrating progress is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about appreciating where you are right now. The more you celebrate, the more you'll encourage yourself to keep going, and the faster you'll rebuild yourself. Final thoughts. As you rebuild yourself, remember that progress is not always easy to see, but it's happening every single day. Every small action you take, every step forward, every lesson learned is a victory. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Don't wait until you reach your ultimate goal. Celebrate where you are now. So take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come. Be proud of your effort. Be proud of the progress you've made. And remember, every step you take is one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself. Celebrate your progress, big or small, and let that fuel your continued growth. You've got this. Keep moving forward and keep rebuilding yourself one step at a time. Number 10, never stop growing. I want to talk to you about something that's absolutely essential if you're going to rebuild yourself, and that's never stop growing. It doesn't matter how far you've come or how successful you've been in the past. If you want to create a new version of yourself, a better version of yourself, you have to commit to the idea that growth is an ongoing process. Why growth matters. Let's start with the simple truth: growth is what keeps us alive. When you stop growing, you start to feel stuck, stagnant, and unfulfilled. But when you're focused on growing, you keep yourself energized, motivated, and ready to take on new challenges. Growth is not just about accumulating knowledge or achieving goals, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. Think about a plant. If it stops growing, it withers and dies. If it keeps pushing through the soil, reaching for the sun, it flourishes. The same goes for you. You must keep pushing, learning, and evolving if you want to rebuild yourself into something extraordinary. Continuous learning is key. One of the most powerful habits you can develop in your journey to rebuild yourself is a commitment to continuous learning. The world changes rapidly, and if you're not growing, you're getting left behind. It doesn't matter if you're rebuilding your career, your relationships, or your health. Knowledge is power. Read books, take courses, watch documentaries, listen to podcasts. Every day, try to learn something new. It doesn't have to be something monumental. It can be as simple as learning a new word, discovering a new skill, or understanding a new concept. The goal is to expand your mind, to challenge your assumptions, and to never stop being curious. When you're constantly learning, you're putting yourself in a position to adapt and overcome challenges. You're preparing yourself for the next step, the next level of your life. And when you make growth a part of your daily routine, you start to see the world differently. You start to see opportunities instead of obstacles, growing beyond your comfort zone. One of the most powerful aspects of growth is stepping outside your comfort zone. It's easy to stay where you are because it feels safe, but if you want to rebuild yourself, you have to be willing to step into the unknown. This means trying new things, taking risks, and facing your fears. Every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, you learn something new about yourself. You become more adaptable, more confident, and more capable. It might be scary, but that's the point. Real growth happens when you're uncomfortable. Think about it, every great achievement started with someone stepping into the unknown. Whether it's starting a business, changing careers, or improving your health, it all begins with taking that first step into the unknown. The power of consistency and growth. Growth is not a one-time event, it's a consistent effort. You can't just read a book or take a course once and expect everything to change overnight. It's about being consistent with your actions, your learning, and your growth habits. Every day you have to make a choice. Will you do something today that helps you grow, or will you stay in the same place? It's those small, consistent actions that add up over time. They compound like interest and create a version of yourself that's smarter, stronger, and more capable. Think about it just like planting seeds. If you water the plant consistently, it grows into a big tree. If you stop watering it, it withers and dies. Your growth works the same way. Keep feeding it, keep nurturing it, and watch it flourish. Learn from setbacks. When things don't go your way, it can be tempting to give up and settle for where you are. But if you're truly committed to rebuilding yourself, you'll see every setback as an opportunity to learn. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. Instead of letting it discourage you, use it as a stepping stone for your next success. If you learn to embrace challenges and setbacks, you start to see them as part of the growth process. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more resourceful. And every time you overcome a setback, you're that much closer to becoming the person you want to be. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. If you want to keep growing, you have to surround yourself with people who are also committed to growth. Find people who are constantly learning, who are pushing themselves, and who are not afraid of change. When you surround yourself with these kinds of people, you feed off their energy, and it keeps you motivated to keep growing. When you're surrounded by growth-minded individuals, you start to see how they approach challenges, how they overcome obstacles, and how they keep moving forward. You start to adopt those same habits, those same attitudes, and it keeps you focused on never stopping your own growth. The importance of self-care and growth. Growth is not just about accumulating knowledge or achieving goals. It's also about taking care of yourself. If you're not taking care of your health, your mind, and your body, you won't be able to grow effectively. You need to get enough sleep, eat healthy, exercise regularly, and take time to recharge. When you take care of yourself, you have the energy and the mental clarity to keep pushing for growth. Your physical and emotional health are critical components of growth. When you feel good, you're more likely to take on challenges, learn new skills, and embrace opportunities. Celebrate your growth. Finally, don't forget to celebrate your growth. It's easy to get caught up in where you still need to go, but take time to look back and appreciate how far you've come. Every step you take is an accomplishment. Every new skill, every new experience, those are all victories worth celebrating. Celebrating growth keeps you motivated, keeps you positive, and reminds you that you're making progress. It helps you stay focused, and it gives you the energy to keep pushing forward. Never stop growing. So, if you want to rebuild yourself, remember, never stop growing. It's not just about reaching your goals, it's about becoming the best version of yourself every single day. Keep learning, keep trying new things, keep stepping outside your comfort zone, and keep seeking growth in every aspect of your life. You've got this. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and keep rebuilding yourself one step at a time.